Let's take a look at the ingredients that you'll need to make the breakfast casserole. First, you're going to need frozen potatoes. I'm going to use tater tots today. You could also use the frozen hash brown patties or just the shredded frozen potato. Either of those will be just fine. You just want to have enough to cover the bottom of your 13 by 9 inch pan that you're going to bake it in. Okay. Next, you're going to need 8 ounces of cheddar cheese. This is mild cheddar cheese. You can use sharp if you prefer that. I actually like to mix sharp and mild, but I'm out of sharp right now, so I just have mild, and that's what I'm going to use. 1 pound of breakfast sausage. I'm going to get that browned up in here in just a moment. I have the hot version of the sausage just because I like that spice. If you don't want that, you can use mild, of course. The only thing I wouldn't recommend for this recipe is Italian seasoned sausage. That would not pair very well with the other ingredients in the recipe. You're going to need 7 eggs. Yes, that's a lot of eggs for this recipe. And then you're going to have a cup of milk, ground mustard, and then a little salt for seasoning. Most of the seasoning for the recipe does come from the sausage. The first thing I'm going to do for this recipe is to get my sausage browned and crispy and then drain the oil off of it. Whenever I brown ground meats, I typically will use my cast iron. I just like the crispiness and the char that it gets without burning it, and it cooks really evenly and it cooks pretty quick when I'm just trying to brown up some meat. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. I'm going to get started preparing the rest of the mix while the sausage is browning. The first thing I want to do, though, is prepare my pan. And what I have here is just butter flavored Crisco. And I have a paper towel, and I'm just going to get a little of that. I keep this in this container because this is what I use when I need to grease a dish. So I just put a little bit on a paper towel and just rub it all over. This recipe typically doesn't stick a whole lot, but it will if you're not careful. But it has enough oil in it typically, so it's not a problem. So I just like to put a little thin layer of that on there. Then I'm going to just get my potatoes in a single layer in the bottom of the pan, and I might need a few more because I want to make sure it's full. Yeah, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get a few more because I want a good single layer. Single layer down at the bottom of the pan. So now the bottom of my pan is covered with the frozen potatoes. So I'm gonna set this aside and get started putting the rest of the mix together. For the next step, inside this bowl, I've got 1 cup of milk. All 7 of the eggs have been cracked and put in here. And then the salt and ground mustard. I put a half a teaspoon of ground mustard and a teaspoon of salt into the mixture. And now I'm going to just get it whisked up. So here I have my sausage that I have browned and drained the oil from. And I've got my egg mixture and my cheese. So now we're just going to put this casserole together so that we can get it into the oven. So the first The casserole is now ready to be covered in foil and put into a 375-degree oven for 30 to 40 minutes. After that initial cook, you're going to take the foil off, put the casserole back into the oven for about 10 minutes so that the cheese on top gets it all nice and golden brown and crispy, and your casserole is cooked through. The 35-minute timer has gone off. So now I'm going to uncover the casserole, trying to be careful not to burn myself. Okay. That's what it looks like after the initial cook at 35 minutes. So now it's going back in, and now this cheese will get all crispy and yummy. It's going to be awesome. So be right back. The 10-minute timer went off, and as you can see, it's got nice and golden brown all around those edges. I know they're going to be so delicious. It's still bubbling a little bit because it's hot out of the oven. So I'm going to let it sit and settle down a little bit. Then I'm going to cut a serving out, and I'm going to have some tonight. Then the rest of it, I'm going to cut into serving sizes, and I'm probably going to freeze it so that I can just pull slices out whenever I feel like having breakfast casserole. It's already done. All I have to do is get it heated through and enjoy.